Hey boys and girls, it's Mr. Dovey, and today's mini lesson is going to be on how to write a summary. A summary is when you take a story and you shorten it up and you put it into your own words and you leave out anything that's not necessary. So that's basically what a summary is. When you write a summary, you have to make sure that your summary is clear and to the point. You also have to make sure that your summary is brief. It shouldn't go on and on and on. And lastly, you have to make sure that you include the main parts of the chapter. Kind of think of the chapter like this, where it started, where it ended, and kind of jump through and think about the big things that happened within that chapter and leave out any of the minor details. While I was reading chapter 2 of Charlotte's Web, I also decided that I was going to write down all the characters' names that were mentioned. And Fern, Wilbur, Mr. and Mrs. Arable, Avery, Aunt Edith, and Uncle Homer, all of their names were mentioned. But you can see here that I crossed out one of those characters, and it was Avery. She was barely mentioned. She had a really small part, and I decided not to include her in my summary. The next thing that I did is I decided that I was going to write my summary. I made sure that I indented. I included what chapter it was and from what book it was in. So I'm going to read it to you now. It says, in chapter 2 of Charlotte's Web, Fern and Wilbur started to bond. Mr. and Mrs. Arable thought Wilbur was getting too big and moved him out to the yard. Fern stayed with him to make sure that he was safe. Wilbur started to eat a lot and was ready to be sold. Her family sold him to Fern's Aunt Edith and Uncle Homer. So if you take a look at my summary, I started at the beginning of chapter 2. And I kind of went through the big things that took place or happened. All right, boys and girls, now it's your turn. I want you to give it a try. Good luck.